That sweater fly too, my brother. I like that sweater, my boy.
I took it back the next day. It cost me.
Hey, kept the tag on that motherfucker?
It kept the tag right in there. Took it back the next day.
Welcome back. Unplugged, our weekly spin around sports, culture, entertainment. We got a special guest off the rip today, Jack. But before we introduce our guest, Jack, you was just out in Mexico. I can see you got a little darker.
Didn't try to.
Yeah, I know you run from the sun, but sometimes that shit is tough. How were you? I know you was out there with socks on the beach. How was Mexico, bro?
Man, I had a good time. It was good to get away because it's finna ramp up. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on with the tour and Big Three, so I needed to get away. Wifey enjoyed it. Had my childhood friend who I went to middle school with me, so it was a good trip. I needed it.
Dope. We was in Indianapolis for the third leg.
How'd it go?
EYBL. We did well. 3-1. Played an 8 a.m. game out there, which was 5 a.m. our time. They caught us slipping once, but qualified for Peach Jam. We'll be ready to rock in July. Man, I want to welcome in right now our brother, Charlamagne. What's good, bro?
Man, what's up, my brothers? Matt, Stacks, what's happening?
What's up, my boy?
We saw your donkey of the day. We definitely want to touch on that at some point, but let's start with some positivity.
Yeah.
First, so Charlamagne, we came together, 2 years ago?
Oh, it might be like 4.
Nah, 5. Oh, going
Is
on
it?
5. Going
Is
on
it
5.
really?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Going
Yeah,
on 5.
Man, all right,
It's been a high school term, a bachelor's degree in college.
Yeah, but we'll blame it on the weed.
I wouldn't know nothing about that.
I mean, shit. Well, no, obviously we appreciate, you came and found us and brought us an opportunity to work with you and your company, Black Effects, over there at iHeart. And it's been a very solid situation and partnership and relationship. But also through that has come, we have a coffee table book.
We're authors now.
Yeah, launching October 8th. And it is through your company. Explain how the partnership with Simon & Schuster, and I don't want to butcher the other name, but kind of explain how that came through your publishing deal.
Man, I'm just a fan of what y'all do, man. First of all, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on one of my favorite podcasts, man, with two of the most authentic voices.
You know, you family, dog.
Absolutely. Two of the most authentic voices we have out here in media. And, I don't think y'all get enough credit because I could be wrong. But, salute to everybody, all the athletes, the former athletes that are doing podcasts and doing their YouTube shows and stuff now. But all the smoke was the originators. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't think of anybody who was doing it prior to y'all.
Not the way we did it.
Yeah, I mean, from the podcast to, how y'all were taking the visuals and putting them on YouTube, the partnership with Showtime, all of that was like groundbreaking. And I think that, y'all showed, the athletes that there is life after whatever, sport it is that they're playing. And, y'all just did that so successfully, man, because, everybody always felt like they had to run to the networks, to have those voices. And now those voices on the networks getting trumped by what y'all doing. So, it's just always a pleasure to, be able to partner with y'all on anything. So, when I've had this book in print for about 4 years now too, Black Privilege Publishing with Simon & Schuster. So just seeing, I'm always going to come to y'all and see what y'all want to do. And so when I saw that y'all wanted to do a book, it's like, yo, let's make that happen. And it's a no-brainer, right? Like, it's not one of those things that you even got to sell to people. It's like, yo,
nah, not at
all the smoke want to do a book. They like, let's figure it out.
To be able to see you in the space, befriend you, and then be able to grow with you. Obviously what you've done has motivated us and me in particular, as far as Kai. I have this amazing show. You had this show in Breakfast Club. How do you branch out? How do you build out? We had a good show in All the Smoke, but how do we branch out? We've been able to build, All the Smoke Productions, outside of leaving Showtime, and do some big partnerships with DraftKings and kind of continue to build out this space and build out our voices, which is important. Obviously, our main focus right now is sports, but, educated enough to speak in other spaces. And you have your particular space that you're expertise in, but an expert to speak in other spaces as well. So I think, what you've done has obviously motivated us to think bigger than just show. And, obviously partnering with you 4 years ago, I smoke a lot of weed, forgive me, has really kind of motivated us to continue to go. But yeah, we have a new book coming out October 8th, a coffee table book that'll go, over our 200 plus episodes, highlight some of our guests, some of our amazing conversations, stuff you may have forgot about or not seen the first time around, man. So definitely looking forward to that dropping October 8th. You can pre-order now. The link is in our bio. Charlamagne, you got some good stuff coming up. Just dropped a new book.
Get honest or die lying. Why small talk sucks.
Go get my boy a book, man. And he got a nice little round table card game for the adults to start some questions. Let's talk about it.
The thought behind your book, Charlamagne, and what else kind of comes with that? Because I know you got a new show on Comedy Central. You got a lot of stuff going on. So talk about what's going on in your ecosystem right now.
Well, the book, man, is just like, every day it's like a challenge, like to wake up and just keep it honest with yourself. Like, everybody always want to keep it real with everybody else, but you're not really keeping it real with that person in the mirror. So like, it's just a challenge to everybody to like, get honest or die lying. Like we see people lying to themselves every day, and then they wake up and then they project those lies and volunteer those lies to everybody else. And I think that's very dangerous, especially in the era we in right now, where everybody got a platform, everybody got a microphone, and we don't need people out here just projecting the BS on the folks. So like, it's just my challenge to everybody, man. Like, challenge yourself to be honest with yourself every single day. You do that, it's easy to show up in the world and be real.
I like that, Matt, because today, especially in social media, it's this thing now where people are creating just fake pages and just spewing out fake media, like completely false stuff, because they know how people see stuff and they believe it and they get the repost, and then one person get the repost and now people thinking it's true. You know what I'm saying? So I like what he said. You got to start being real with yourself, man, because there's so much false stuff out there. People believe anything they read.
And the why small talk sucks part is just because, man, I hate small talk, literally and figuratively. Like I hate when, like you somewhere and somebody just try to make meaningless chit chat with you. And it's just like, you got to tell brother or sister, like, hey, I appreciate it, but just like, let's talk about something else. Let's actually talk about something if we going to talk. And then I feel like, nowadays people just be making all these macros, man. It'd be like these small issues. Like I saw when you came back on social media after your break, Jack, and you was like, man, y'all be on here talking about a bunch of nothing.
I enjoy my vacation away from social media, man.
That's how I be every day. Like, we make these small issues into the biggest things in the world. So when the big things actually pop up, we don't even know how to talk about them or deal with them.
Facts, you sure right, bro.
Let's talk about, the current state of the media, because, as you mentioned, it used to be machine driven. And now it's individual and platform driven, and some of that has been a blessing. But we can all admit, and we don't put ourselves above anybody. Some of you motherfuckers don't deserve platforms to be saying the bullshit you're on here saying. So talk to the state of the media and how it's changed, but also at the same time stay the same.
Anybody can have a platform. Anybody can say anything. You don't know what's true. You don't know what's not true, and that within itself is dangerous because they've been saying for the longest that our people, we perish from a lack of knowledge. So it's like nowadays, if so much misinformation is being spewed out here, like what's real knowledge, what's real wisdom, like what's real understanding, like who truly has it, where do you get it from? But then on the flip side, you have so many people out here who, like yourselves, who create your own platforms, who actually have something to say. So when you ask me what stayed the same, authenticity.
I never can get that word out, bro.
Yeah, why the fuck me up today? Being authentic will never go out of style, and I think people can sniff that out more than ever.
Yes, sir.
I think that now with all of this AI and the deep fakes and the chat GPT, all of this stuff that you can just create, people are going to have to turn back to just like regular humans that they trust. You know what I'm saying? Real people that actually they trust and they value their voices. And that's something that's always been since the beginning of time. So even though everybody has a platform, I think it's going to be just like anything else. The cream going to continue to rise to the top.
How, with us being the center of everything, cool, culture, current events,
fashion,
creators, do you ever see a day where our people are compensated for the influence they have on culture, and what needs to be done for that to happen?
I don't think we'll ever be properly compensated for the influence that we have on culture, but I think that, the more of us, do what we're all doing, starting our own production companies, launching our own platforms, we'll get compensated for that. We'll get compensated, for building things that can actually empower other people. I don't think we'll ever truly get compensated for what we've already done, culture wise. But and also I think that has to do with a lot of us still just having a consumer mindset. Like we so happy just being the consumers, or we so happy just getting, I guess, credit for things, right? Like, oh yeah, that was started by black people, or that was started by black people. I think we need more than a salute, man. Like, we need we need real live equity. We need real compensation for that. But I don't think we'll ever get it until we get out of that consumer mindset. We got to get out of that consumer mindset and like really start creating. Right now we're like the curators of cool. Like we're like the creators of it, and then the curators of it. And we can say what's cool and what's not cool, but we can't really direct, who gets compensated for what. And I think that's the biggest problem. But we just got to get out of that consumer mindset.
And I've been guilty of it too. Like I think that for me, that's why I'm so loyal to my team and I love my team so much. I got a great mind and I got a hustler's mindset, but I didn't have a owner's mindset or a business mindset. But being around the guys, Madden and Brian and Jelani and the guys I'm around now, I'm learning from them. You know what I'm saying? Being the owner of this companies and stuff like that, and being a part of this, I'm learning more about how important ownership is and different spaces we can be in and where we belong by being around my team. You know what I'm saying? So you saying getting the right information. It's important to put yourself around the right people, around the people that's gonna help you grow, around people that's better than you, that can teach you, that's not around just yes men. You know what I'm saying? So I've been blessed. Even having a relationship with you, seeing what you build, and being blessed to be around a team I have to understand these things. Like I said, I didn't go to college. You know what I'm saying? I come from an upbringing where get it how you live, figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So to be with a team like I have now and to see guys like you, Charlamagne, it's important that we get the right information because we can succeed and reach those heights with the right information.
Absolutely. That's why I'm not afraid to ask questions, man. And I'm never afraid to look stupid. Like if I don't know what something is, I'm gonna ask. If I don't know how to put something together, I'm gonna ask. That's the only way that I learned. Because growing up, we all saw people that we looked to that were doing those things, right? Like growing up for me, especially being a black kid growing up in South Carolina. I look to the rappers. I look to the Jay Princes. I look to the Master P's. I look to what Jay-Z was doing with Rockefeller. I look to the Suave House. When I kept hearing that word, independence, sell it out the trunk and have your own label. Like I wanted to know, what that was. And so as I got older and, got into that space, I was just blessed to have, real people that would put their arm around me and show me like, nah, this is how you build this company out, and this is how you build that company out, and this is how you build that company out. And that's just been a blessing.
Hip hop 2024 has been nuts. I think obviously last year the Diddy stuff at the end of the year kind of started the fire. Cat Williams kicked the door in on Shannon Sharp's podcast, and the hip hop community has been going crazy ever since. Just quickly on Drake and Kendrick, what they had, what came of it, but really just more important, I love the sport of it. Charlamagne, you came from where we came from, where, we grew up and hip hop was so instrumental in our upbringing and our culture, and just feeling a little older. Maybe this is the older side of me. I kind of felt like hip hop was not on life support because there are some very talented artists out there, but it just didn't have the kick we had. And obviously two of the biggest artists that ever, but of our generation in particular, are going blow for blow. So what were your thoughts of the back and forth between Kendrick and Drake?
It's way more commercial than it's ever been, though, Charlamagne.
Oh yeah, without question. I love the sport of it, like you said, Matt. To me, it was like we never saw Kobe and Bron in the finals. But that was always the matchup everybody wanted to see, right? Like you remember when Jeezy had that song Kobe, LeBron, and Nike had all the ads. Nike had
puppets. They had the puppets for Kobe and Bron. Yeah.
But we never saw it, and so it felt kind of like with this, Drake and Kendrick have been throwing shots at each other for so long, but we never thought we would actually see them go head up. So I love the sport of it. The only thing I disliked about it, man, I was like, damn, they went to hell on each other. Like the stuff they put on each other, man, like calling somebody a pedophile, calling Drake, Kendrick calling Drake a pedophile, Drake calling Kendrick a wife beater, like. And there's some heavy accusations to be putting on somebody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But other than that, I mean, I thought it was fantastic for the sport. I don't know what the fallout will be, if anything. I don't think any of those.
I don't think
I
they're
don't think
going to
any of
lose
those
steam.
allegations stuck to them in that way. I mean, people might make jokes on social media and laugh and stuff like that, but I don't think any of those things will stick to them. But it's just dangerous to watch two men Me Tooing each other.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah.
It was two men Me Tooing each other. Like, damn.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
that's an interesting perspective, and I just think from a pure music standpoint, I hope it doesn't get to, if you're a Drake fan, you can't fuck with Kendrick, and vice versa. I think both these guys are amazing in their own respective ways. Two of the greatest to ever do it. They went at each other. It got a little messy, but I think hopefully they'll both continue to elevate.
I've always been more of a Kendrick fan. I've always said I feel like Kendrick is the leader of the new school. When it came to this last generation, I feel like it's a fantastic four, right? It's Kendrick, it's Cole, it's Drake, and it's Future, right? Like that's the fantastic four of that generation. I throw, you could throw other people in there like the Big Seans and the Wale's, the Rhapsodies, like they were there, but that was the fantastic four. And I've always been more of a Kendrick fan anyway. I want to see Kendrick do a West Coast album, man.
It's got to be coming.
West Coast album.
Yeah, man. I think when Kendrick hit people with that Not Like Us, see, we grew up off that because we born in the 1900s, so we came up in that 90s era. We know the Death Row sound and that vintage Ice Cube and Pac sound. We know what that is. I want to see Kendrick do a whole album that sounds like that, like with the Mustards and the Battle Cats and the Dr. Dre's and Dad.
And the Quicks and the Dads and Corrupts.
Oh,
and
a lot of people got to understand, too, it's a different era, dog. Like, back when we was coming up, I don't think having people knowing that people wrote your music, it wouldn't have survived back then. But now today, motherfuckers don't care about it. This generation don't care about it, bro. And this is the truth. They don't care about none of the stuff we cared about is coming up in the hip hop. So it's a different era. So if like Matt said, if people feeling like they can't do this because this person said that, none of these people know you, first of all, okay? Drake don't know you. Kendrick don't know you. Drake nor Kendrick are going to text you and say, thanks for taking my side. Right? So just enjoy the music.
I'm enjoying
and,
both.
Know what I'm saying? Yeah, me too,
I'm a fan. Just sit back and be a fan. You know what I mean? I didn't necessarily want to pick sides. I would say that Kendrick won, but I got a lot of respect for Drake because that motherfucker took on how many people? You know what I mean? And it's hard out here for us light-skinned motherfuckers that come from biracial backgrounds. You always gotta be slick with your words, and you gotta be able to fight. You can't have you gotta have one of those.
Well, Matt, we know you can fight. Well, you got both, Matt. You slick with your words and you got both.
Hey. But Matt, hey, hold on. I gotta say this, dog, because nobody don't know. Matt is not your normal biracial motherfucker, dog. Okay, if you met Matt's daddy and knew what Matt's daddy was doing, dropping him to school, you'll know why he's so goddamn different.
you say Matt got dark skin tendencies?
Hey man, hey, that nigga daddy his daddy could have played on Boys in the Hood, South Central, and Boys, all of New Jack City, all that shit, Storm Road.
Listen, you can say what you want about Drake. Drake has not backed down from a challenge.
No, hell no. You got to respect it. Gotta respect it. You gotta respect
came at
it.
him. He got at me. Pusha T got at Pusha T. Kanye, whoever it is. He went at 5 different people just now.
For real.
For
real.
He held his own. Like I can't sit there and act like I didn't enjoy. I enjoyed all Drake music. I enjoyed Kendrick's a little bit more, but I think that the best record to come out of that whole thing was that Drake Family Matters. I think Kendrick had the best song with Not Like. But that Family Matters is tough.
Hard. Hell yeah. Creative. What do you think the future holds for streamers? Are artists, I mean, obviously they are, still getting the short end of the stick. Will there ever be a time where, we're screaming independence more than ever? There's a roadmap for it. Will there ever be a time where artists are truly paid what they're worth for their art?
Only way that's gonna happen in music is if they do it themselves. But they know that from the beginning. That's why it's so funny when people, sign these music, these deals with these record labels, and they still complaining about what these record labels are doing to them. Like nothing has changed since the beginning of time. And the blueprint to make real money off your music has been there. Like everybody I just named from the South showed you how to make money, off your music. Cash Money, the No Limits, the Rap A Lot. They showed you how to make money off your music independently. 3 6 Mafia. 3 6 Mafia had one of the best models ever.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
They
had
forget about them.
independent wing, and then they had a major label thing. So they was doing both at the same time, using the major label to continue to build their profile, then still putting the little whites and everybody out, independently. And I always thought that was dope. As far as I like what the Screaming is doing in the media. Like I like what Kai Cenat, I like what those guys do, because there's a fluidity that they have that even podcasts don't even have, because podcasts still record and they put out, they come out once or twice a week. But if Drake want to give academics a record or they want to Kai Cenat to talk about something right there in that moment, them guys can just get on there, scream, and they right at the people in minutes.
Is that not to cut you off, Charlamagne, is that obviously the future of someone like you? Obviously you've established yourself and you grinded in this space for a number of years. These young streamers have jumped in the space and captured their generation, through streaming. Is that where all of this is headed?
Yeah, I think that you have to kind of be there now. Like with Breakfast Club, we split up. We distribute Breakfast Club on like 5 or 6 different platforms, and we've been doing that for forever now. It's like, of course, you get us on the radio. So on terrestrial radio, we get between 6 to 8 million monthly listeners. And then we put it out as a daily podcast. So the daily podcast does like 15 to 20 million downloads a month. And then we put it out on YouTube, and we put it out on all the social media platforms. Another thing that we've just started doing, we've been going live. So like as we're in the studio and you listening to us on the radio, we'll just go live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Instagram, all at the same time. And there's tens of thousands of people watching us, over there now too, because, you can't just build it. Back in the day, they say, if you build it, they will come. Now you got to build it and meet people where they are. So it's like, if you know that there's this audience online that's looking for this type of content, you got to give it to them in real time. So yeah, the future is now as far as that. I think in a minute you're gonna start seeing like live podcasts. Like, y'all might, all the smoke might say, look, this Tuesday we're gonna go live and just do our show via the stream, and then take that same audio and put it out on the RSS feed as a podcast later. I mean, that's just what you got to do nowadays. You got to meet people where they are.
I'm over here taking notes as you talking your shit. So we definitely doing everything you just said.
You got to meet people where they are, man.
Hey, real quick before we get you out of here, we appreciate your time. Big article just dropped in the New York Times with you, and you saying you're not picking a side in this year's election. You've been very outspoken and have a very powerful voice, not only in our community but overall. I've definitely utilized my voice and platform for this last run. What are your thoughts on just what we're headed towards this November, come election time, and where do you kind of stand with it, understanding that you are someone that people look to for information?
And second part of that question, I'm supposed to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award this week. Should I receive it?
Lifetime Achievement Award from who?
From the president.
Hell yeah, you deserve it. You earned that.
Come on, man.
Hell yeah.
I've been hearing mixed emotions from a lot of people I respect.
Nah, you deserve that. You earned that.
Celebrate yourself, bro.
You should absolutely go collect that. And if you get the opportunity while you're there, to speak, just always speak truth to power the way you always do. I think as far as the election, man, I just feel like as a black person, as a brown person, you shouldn't be beholden to any political party. Like, I don't know why we have this idol worship over Democrats. I don't know why Black and brown people have this idol worship over Republicans. Like, at the end of the day, we should just be voting our interests. And, when you look around and, you see the condition that, our communities are in, you just got to ask yourself, are these people doing everything that, they possibly can be, for us? And I get on these platforms and I say the same thing. I'm voting my interest this year. My interest this year is to simply protect democracy, and when I look at somebody like, former President Trump, like, he's just a person who doesn't give a damn about democracy in any way, shape, or form. Like, he literally said, let's suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. It's crazy to me that all of these so-called patriots who'll get mad because Colin Kaepernick will take a knee, or these other athletes will take knees, they'll get mad and call those folks unpatriotic. But a person who says, let's suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election, the election, which is supposed to be the cornerstone of democracy, voting, the cornerstone of democracy, you want to suspend the Constitution to overthrow the results of that. I don't see how anybody could want somebody like that, being the leader of the free world. And then, we can't even begin to talk enough about the attempted coup of this country that happened on January 6th. So I don't like President Biden either. You know, I think President Biden is complete trash. You know, but I know that he's better than the alternative. You know, then there's third party candidates out there too. You got Dr. Cornel West out there. You got, you know, RFK Jr., Marianne Williamson. Folks always say those individuals don't have a chance. Well, that's why they don't have a chance. They don't have a chance because they conditioned us to make us believe that, you know, none of those people are viable options. So I'm never going to tell nobody to stay home and vote in November, but I'm also going to tell you that as a black person, man, you do not have to be beholden to any of these parties. You know, and when you do put these people in office, you got to stay on their ass to make sure they're showing up for us.
I started with local, community, state, where you see the turnaround, you know, and eventually work your appetite up to, you know, higher things. But, you know, people want to see results and they want to see them fast, and you see them the fastest if you get out there and vote in your communities. You know what I mean? So that's where a lot of to start my appetite in this space, because this is a space we were never intended to have a footprint or a voice in. And now when we come together, it's up to us what we want to do if we come together. You know what I mean? So obviously to educate yourself and understand that there's faults on both sides, and who serves, you know, the best purpose for not only us, but for our children and our children's children coming down the pipeline. So it's a whole lot of shit going on.
It's just a business decision at the end of the day. That's really what it is. Like, you know, they try to make it seem like, you know, especially when I see, I'm not even gonna say just liberals, because everybody does it. It's like, yo, I don't want to fall in love with any of these candidates. Like I'm literally voting because, you know, there's certain interests I have, there's certain issues that I want to see addressed. You know, there might be certain policies that they lay on the table that I'll be like, yo, that would be really dope if implemented. That's what I'm voting for. I'm not voting for no individual. I'm voting for issues.
Well, Charlamagne, we appreciate your time. You can check out the new book. Give it to them, and where they can find it at.
Get Honest or Die Lying, Why Small Talk Sucks. It's available everywhere you get books now, man. And that All the Smoke Coffee Table book drops October 8th. You can pre-order that right now wherever you pre-order books, man.
That sweater fly too, my brother. I like that sweater, my boy.
I took it back the next day. It cost me.
Hey, you kept the tag on that motherfucker?
We kept the tag right in there. Took it back the next day.
Hell yeah. Well, Charlamagne, man, we appreciate you, bro. We appreciate your love and always looking out for us. And we hope we're doing our part to help your ecosystem grow, because you're definitely doing your part to help ours grow, bro.
Definitely, man. I love everything that y'all doing, man. Especially what y'all doing with the other platforms, the KGs and the Paul Pierces and all of that. Like, what y'all building out with All the Smoke is incredible, and I hope people paying attention. But by the time they pay attention, it'll be too late.
Too late. It's gonna be too late. Yeah, we're not even tripping.
We ain't even tripping, man.
Yeah. It's gonna be too. We got so much shit cooking. But again, Charlamagne, bro, thank you for your time. We'll catch up with you soon, bro.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Our next guest, my UCLA brother, my dog. Welcome to the show and the family. Our brother, Trevor Ariza. Trev, what up, bro?
My dogs, what's up with it? How y'all doing, man?
What's up, fam?
Yes,
Trevor, it looks real sunny where you at, man. Where you at right now? Where you hiding out at, bro?
It's sunny. It's tropical. I'm in Turks right now, brother.
Yeah.
Enjoying this beautiful weather over here at home, man. Yeah.
I know it.
Let's get to it. Tajh was just in Indy. I saw their team out there. You said they took a few lumps out there, but what is the experience with Tajh been like? A top 10 player in his class in the country, just got an offer from our alma mater, UCLA. As a dad and as someone who's trying to, you know, give him the game and show him the ropes, what has that experience been like with your son, who's 16, right?
Yeah, he's 16. He just turned 16 in March. So he's in his right grade. He's, you know, doing.
I'm glad you specified, because not everybody can say that. Like, the twins are 15 as freshmen, and they'll be 16 as a sophomore. That's how you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be 17 as a freshman.
Hell no, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
you're not. But for him and for me and our relationship, you know, it's taught me a lot. I learned a lot, especially about being somebody that played in the NBA. Him wanting to that being his dream. But me being dad at the same time, there's a little bit of areas that you got to work through in those situations, because me as a player, I wanted to be perfect at everything I do, because, you know, as far as like work, I was willing to put in the work. Talented, I may not have been as talented as the best players or whatever, but I felt like, you know, there was opportunities where I could have been. But for me and his relationship, I want to push him to be the best that he could be at all given times. Like, I always want him to go 100%. I always want him to stay confident. But the father part of me wants him to be like a gentleman, wants him to be able to like, take care of everything for himself, guide himself and learn things, as a man too. So having that balance and figuring out how to do that has been a little bit of a challenge. But, like we going through life, we learning things together. So I'm excited about it. And it's been, exciting times.
Yeah, I love it too. And he just transferred to your alma mater, right?
Yeah, he just went to Westchester. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, best of luck with that. So, Trev, always someone, been my homie for a while, a man of few words. You know what I mean? Unless you're really around Trev and Trev fuck with you, you're not going to hear Trev's voice. Trev is really kind of.
Yeah, you won't know he burnt out.
Yeah, but always very well, always very well spoken. And I'm really glad he hit me up a while ago and kind of wanted to start dabbling in this media space. And I was really excited because I feel like, 18 years, how many years you played in the league? 20?
18, yeah.
18 years and knows the game. As you just mentioned, not the superstar, but had the attributes of stars for sure. So what is your goal in this media space as we kind of try to help you figure out what is next for you in this?
Man, to be honest with you, brother, I feel like I'm a chameleon. I could do pretty much everything. I've always felt that way about everything. It's just being in the space or seeing what I like. That really, to me, it doesn't matter. I just want to figure out how I can like give back or help in like a team setting situation. Like I've always been really good in that space. So figuring out my lane and right here with people that I trust, the people that I fuck with, it definitely brings more of my personality out.
I love all the work that Matt and everybody doing it on our team, bro, because it shows us for so long they put us in the box.
Mm-hmm.
You just play basketball. And all you can do is play basketball, and then you got to retire. If you can't coach, you got to do something else. Like for so long, that was the way they put basketball players. But nowadays, we can do whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about in any space we want. It's just whatever, like you said, whatever you feel like you're comfortable in, you can be your best at. We can do that shit
for sure.
Trev, one thing we're gonna need you to work on since you're coming over to this side is help Jack grow his shit. Ain't got no hang time in the back.
I got a little bit, man. Hold on, man. Don't do that.
Don't do it like that.
Nah, Jack.
Don't do that. Don't do that. My shit growing now.
Nah, Jack, that shit been that length for 8 months right there. That shit ain't going nowhere.
But it didn't start like that.
Man, don't let everybody in your head, bro. You got only let people in your head that's close to your brain that got love for you, bro. That's it.
Ooh,
yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm pretty good with that. I got one chick here that braid my hair all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where you start. Yeah. We're gonna figure it out, Jack. I want to see
and
next time. I want to see your shit like Trev's.
Hey, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to this shit when my shit start growing too. I'm gonna get Trev whole regiment. And I don't want to hear shit from none of y'all.
For real.
Hey, at one point he wanted to do my shit. Now he want to do Trev's shit. We gonna see what works. You got a better chance at Trev than mine.
No bullshit. I didn't even try your shit. We just talked about it. I really didn't try it. I knew that shit wasn't going to work.
All right, man. Well, hey, great weekend of hoops. I mean, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are set. Man, OKC falls to Luka and Kyrie. And one role player who's really been making a name for himself in this playoffs, PJ Washington, who averaged 17 points and 8 rebounds in this series and shot 47% from the three-point line. Let's backtrack a little bit and talk about this series. I think one thing that I said coming into the playoffs is it wasn't that I didn't believe in OKC and Minnesota. I just had to see it because we all know as vets, 14 plus years each, that the lights are a lot brighter. The attention to detail, each possession, it means that much more. And OKC, fell short. Tough foul call at the end of the game by SGA, which was obviously a foul, but they fell short. Let's talk a little bit about this series first. And, Jack, I'll start with you.
I just look at the defensive side. Both teams were scoring, you know what I'm saying? I was looking at the teams who made the plays down the stretch, you know what I'm saying, and made the hustle plays. And for me, Dallas was the best at scrambling. Both teams was able to, for their stars, was able to get easy shots and get to the basket and make plays for other people. But they did better scrambling out, contesting shots and doing stuff like that at the end. Yeah, the foul, that was an uncostly foul. I hate that OKC had to go out like that. But for the most part, I think Dallas was the better defensive team. They scrambled better, and I think they fought more to win that game.
Trev?
I think when you get into the playoffs and you got to figure out ways to win games, defense is what's going to bring it out of you all the time. So whoever has the most stretch, the longest stretch of better defensive play is going to win the series. Now, history has shown us, like you said, as veterans, that younger teams usually haven't had enough experience to figure out how to muster up wins or grind wins out, and kind of, in a situation that we just seen with that series right there, that kind of played into history right there. So
closing out games.
exactly, figuring out how to close out games as a young team is a hard thing to do in the playoffs.
Jack, I want to say it was you. You had Dallas as one of your dark horses, didn't you? Kind of coming towards the end of the season.
I did.
Yeah, I remember you said that. I mean, we know, obviously your relationship with Kyrie, but you kind of felt that they were coming together at the right time, and obviously one of the top duos in the game. And they both had their moments in this past series.
And no hate, because every time we talk about basketball, I think it's hate. But they killed some Tim Hardaway minutes. He's not the best defender. He don't even try sometimes on defense. So having PJ Washington, that shit was big for them, dog.
Yeah. I mean, they revamped their team. You got to think they went out and got the Lively and the other big kid. Josh Green. PJ Washington was a late addition, which ended up being huge for them. So for them, everything kind of came this season. You know what I mean? Obviously, the core pieces were Kyrie and Luka, and the whole question coming into this season was that can they coexist? And I think they've done that. And I think that we've seen. This is the freest we've seen Kyrie play basketball in a long time. He's at peace on and off the court, and we know what kind of dude he is on the court when he's at peace. So I think it's been a beautiful thing, and these motherfuckers got hot at the right time. Switching conferences, the Knicks crumble down the stretch. Injuries played a huge part in that, but I also think the Pacers' pace and their others, as Shaq likes to call them, their role players, played really well this series. We'll get into that, but thoughts on the Knicks, Trev, as they kind of stand right now. We've talked on the show in the past about, I mean, they had 4 or 5 or 6 key guys. I think, obviously, Randle went out before the playoffs, but I think they lost 4 or 5 guys during the playoffs, and we all know how big Tibbs is on minutes. Although Brunson is a hand, and you can't really necessarily say that's wear and tear. That's just kind of bad luck. But I've always wondered, does the way he plays his guys 39, 40-plus minutes the entire season and plays them more in the playoffs, does that, affect their ability to go deep in the playoffs?
That's just the nature of the game. The more time you're on the court, the more you have, or you're subjected to injury. And that's just the way it is. And the way Tibbs he coaches hard as a motherfucker. So he going to get everything he can up out of you. And when you play this game, you're going to give something. And, you hope that the injuries aren't severe or like career threatening, but in this game we've all played, you're going to have injuries. But the Knicks, the way that they are, honestly, there should only be one piece that I think that they should move. Everybody else that they have, especially the people that was hurt, I think they fit into that style of play. They fit into Tibbs' style, and to be honest with you, the culture of New York, I feel like those players fit into just the way that they play.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I would say though about like the NBA as a whole and like the people behind or outside of the court, the GMs and the people that put these teams that's here right now together, their mid-season trades and the things that they've done to have these teams where they are right now, they did a really good job too.
Yeah, everyone kind of here thinks it's Randle may be the guy that might be the odd guy looking in this offseason because, like they said, the pieces they have outside of him from the Bogdanoviches and the OGs and these other guys that got hurt but definitely fit this system well. So you see, are you someone that agrees that Randle may be on his way out?
One, I definitely agree with that. Randle need to be gone because look at the success we had him. A couple things with the Knicks. I don't think he's that guy that Batman to Brunson. I mean, Robin to Brunson. I don't think he's that guy. More like a guy like a PG guy that can create. Randle super his hit. Randle game.
Hold on. Don't just fly by that. You said Paul George would be a perfect fit. You feel like in New York?
Yeah, because they need a wing that can get buckets and that can get to it and that can guard other wings. They have all small guards. You know, Randle is really one dimensional. If you stop him from going left, he's either gonna run over you or turn it over. These are just the facts. Y'all got to watch your own game. We don't be hating on y'all. We be watching y'all play.
Well, I definitely too want to touch on what Indiana accomplished, not what the Knicks didn't. You know, shout
Right.
out those boys. I mean, they made. We talk about GMs making, you know, to be able to pick up Pascal during the season. Tyrese Halliburton's really first taste in the playoffs. I think their X factor throughout these first two rounds has been little white dude,
TJ
TJ
McConnell.
McConnell,
Hell
McCullough.
yeah.
getting
That
to
motherfucker's
his.
tough
And as basketball players, we used to hate little guys like that, but
Yeah.
you want them on your team.
for
Getting to
sure.
his spots, picking up full court, you know, not conceding the switch. He's fighting over screens and just made it tough. I mean, Brunson's a motherfucker, but TJ McConnell made him work hard. So, you know, it was some payback for what's the boy's name that goes under the legs on the fast break that was in New York? Topham.
Obi
You know what I
Toppin.
mean?
Obi Toppin.
Topham played with the edge. You know, Miles Turner, you know, did
That
his
was
part. So
crazy.
Naismith, is that how you say his last name? I'm
Yeah,
butchering
Neesmith.
names this morning. But to your point, Jack, Carlisle did a great job of, I think, wearing them out with their depth and his ability to go into the bench and trust the bench and get production from the bench. So uphill battle, obviously, versus the Celtics, but definitely want to give Indiana their respect because although the Knicks were beat up, that was a tough Knicks team.
That was.
Boston ain't been playing that well either, though. So
They haven't
they
been
got a
tested yet,
shot.
Jack. This is going to be their first. I feel like this is going to be their first real test, and that's not, you know, with all due respect to the teams they played. You know, a Cleveland team, it wasn't that good, and then who was the first team they played in the first round? I'm burnt out. I've been traveling so much. I forgot who
Miami.
Miami. Yeah, beat up Miami team with no Jimmy Butler. So Boston's definitely going to get tested. You know, I see them coming out of the Eastern Conference, but you know, Indiana's definitely going to have something to say. Now the team that I think surprised the entire league and maybe not everybody. You know, Trev, you called this
Damn
shit
sure didn't surprise me.
3
Yeah.
months ago. You were on Shannon Sharp's show saying what? Tell us what you said 3 or 4
Man,
months ago.
I told the world, or I told Instagram or whoever like
Whoever's
publicizes
listening.
this shit, yeah, that Anthony Edwards was the nigga, and nobody, you know, everybody's like, ah, he's a good player or whatever, but I just seen it, and I just by how he moves, and it's not even really like the just the game, it's how he encourages his teammates, it's how he leads by example, it's how he takes coaching, is how he does everything that he does and still like is the player that he is. That's just a test to like how hungry he is and how much he wanted. He not gonna back down from shit. He wants the action.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you looking at players that's like stars or superstars and you want like and like you know like there's gonna be a tough time that you're gonna have to go through in that stretch. Those are the things that you look for in a player that you want to ride with or you want to be in that foxhole with, and he got all the attributes
Yeah.
of it. And he moved like Mike. So it's not too many motherfuckers. Like you see that straight away.
Jack, before we get to you, I just again to piggyback off what Ti said, I want to give Minnesota's front office some credit because you got to think they took a lot of heat when they traded all that shit for Rudy Gobert, all that traded all them picks and players, and they took a lot of heat, but they stood the test with Gobert, and congratulations to him. He wins his fourth Defensive Player of the Year, putting him in rare air. Sixth Man of the Year, Nas Reed, someone I was really high on. I thought he was one of the top
Man.
free agents last year that no one was really talking about, and he ended up going back to Minnesota, and he was a big game changer in Game 7. Cat getting healthy and finally buying in because as we all recall, there was a while where Cat was kind of reluctant to hand this team off to Ant. Remember, he was low-key hating on him, talking about what he eats and all that bullshit that didn't really matter. But I think they've kind of built their relationship on and off the court, which, you know, kind of allows Cat to play that second role. And Cat is, I don't give a fuck what you, Cat can play basketball, bro.
Cat
You
is
can say
fucking
what you want
cold.
about the man. Cat could play basketball. And then you got one of the most underrated players in the game, one of my old point guards, Mike Conley, who just goes below, you know, does whatever it takes and, you know, keeps this team together. They got the young boy on the wing who's a monster on the defensive end. Help me with his name. McDaniels. should be first team all defense. So really, again, hats off to the Minnesota front office for building this team. And as we said earlier, it wasn't that me personally, it wasn't that I didn't believe in the young teams. I had to see it. And I think what Minnesota showed us, not only throughout the series, coming to get the first 2 games and, kind of celebrating and taking their foot off the gas, getting their ass kicked in their home, but then being able to bounce back, being a young team, being able to take a punch and be able to counter punch back and come back and down 20 on the defending champs floor in game 7. And you guys make that run. Jack, what do you think about Minnesota as we stand right now with them heading into the Western Conference Finals?
Well, then again, it's a lot of things are just common sense. It's the number 1 defense in the league.
Talk to them.
You know what I'm saying? To come back from down 20, they got it in them. They've been doing it all year long. And one thing about it that you can tell about this team, they trust each other on defense. When somebody doubling, you don't even have to say nothing. They got the old term. You got to be on the string. The defense has to be on the string. You know what I'm saying? And they trust each other, bro. And it shows. And like I said on my Instagram, it's just so refreshing. You got to give the whole team props. And you got to give the McDaniels and the rest of these guys, because when those guys come off the bench, they come with that same energy on defense. But to have your best player every night challenging the best player on their team and being able to, we guys that played on both ends, we didn't just play on one of the court. It's just refreshing to see a guy like Anthony Edwards, come out there being that people saying he's the face of the league or being the best player right now. He's definitely the best offensive player on their team, but he's becoming the best defender as well. So I just and that transfers to the team. You look at Naz Reid. Naz Reid stepped up and took the challenge and guard Jokic at the end when they made that comeback. You know what I'm saying? And all those big tip ins he got in. So that's another young person that come up just like Anthony, had that same fire in him. So, you know what I'm saying? It gets contagious to the team, dog. And I just love to see it because we guys that took pride in that defense, and it's showing people wondering how they win and how they come back from 20. It's effort. It's being on the same page. It's caring about stopping. It's trying. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even try, dog. And I love to see that both of these teams, Dallas and Minnesota, are showing that you got to be scrappy, especially this time of year, to try to win these big games.
Trev, what is your thought on the league is such a copycat league? When Golden State had their run, everyone built their teams, and you were on a Houston team that was right there on beating them a couple injuries away. Everyone built their teams to beat Golden State. Golden State has gotten older, and their window has shut. Denver stepped on the scene, and teams kind of started resorting back to, and let's look at Minnesota, 3 serviceable bigs. The defensive player of the year, and then 2 other motherfuckers that could play defense on Jokic. And as Jack said, that GM built the Nuggets. So they built this team to beat the Nuggets. And this is a newer, upgraded version. And we haven't talked about it in a while, but Jack, we spoke on this a while ago about the key role players that Denver had lost last year, and Jeff Green and Bruce Brown and those guys. Minnesota has a lot of great role players, a lot of great young players, but we're built to beat Denver and beat Denver. You know what I mean? So we're looking at now to see. I mean, obviously, this matchup in the Western Finals is going to be huge. 2 young budding stars. Arguably 2 of the, not arguably 2 of the faces of the league. That once Bron and KD and Steph are done, these 2 guys, big faces, are going to be in the front of the NBA. I mean, and you look at what Ant is 22 and a half, Luka's 25. These guys are going to be here for a while. So let's look at this next.
Hey, one quick thing, Trev, Matt, think about this though. If they got Jeff Green, they go Jeff Green, Jokic, AG, Caldwell Pope, and Murray. They bigger.
Yeah.
They can rebound better. They got our rebound. And I'm just saying, like, that's
More
what they
versatile.
missed those type of guys. Yeah, they missed those type of guys, dog. But that's how they was able to beat the Lakers so easy. They were so versatile.
Bruce Brown was a Swiss Army knife, but also
Bruce Brown was
someone I love, Michael Porter Jr. could get hottest with the hottest if he's not shooting the ball well.
He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing nothing.
Not giving you myself out there, and he had his
one-dimensional.
Yeah, he had his moments out there, but again, I definitely think they missed their role players. But we got to think back to the first time to see 2 young superstars, 25 and under, meet off in the conference finals. You look back at 01 with Iverson and Ray Allen. You take it further back, Bird versus Moses Malone in 81. Buck's sons, young Giannis, young Booker in the finals, Magic and Bird. But again, I really think we've seen the torch pass this summer.
Yeah,
Phoenix is up in the air. We don't know if KD will get another ring. We don't know if Bron will get another ring, and we don't know if Steph will get another ring. But we do know that either Tatum, Tatum, Luka, Ant-Man, or
Halliburton.
SGA?
Halliburton. No, I'm just talking about who's left. You know,
Who's left? Okay,
one of
yeah.
these new young team superstars is going to get their first ring, and I think it's kind of the beginning of this new era of basketball. So definitely looking forward to this.
This is Tatum time. This is Tatum chance. If he don't get it now, they're not gonna get it.
Man, this is his time to really. Tatum's 26. I mean, you think, you know, 4 superstars under 26, with Tatum being 26, Luka being 25, and then the other 2 being in their early 20s. So it's definitely going to be a fun conference finals, and we're gonna see.
Hey, for real though, the Minnesota team reminds me of the team that I was on in LA, the Laker team that won. Just with the side, just the pieces that they got, like with
Remind
the
us who's on that team again.
Bynum, Powell, myself,
Mm-hmm.
Odom, Bean, Fish.
Oh,
you know what I mean? We had a lot of players. Luke was on that team. We had a lot of like players that just knew how to play in their role and play in their position and give everything. And people that actually like playing together and trusted each other. You know what I mean? Like that was big, because Jack was talking about how Minnesota, their best player is scoring all the points, or scoring a lot of the points, and going to sit down on their best player on the other team. That just gives your team that gives your team, or the role players, or the players that's playing the role, more confidence just to go out there and kill just as hard as you are. So there's no excuse. So that's why I feel like the team that I like is that Minnesota team, because that's what it reminds me of.
Who will be the biggest X factors in this Minnesota-Dallas series? Will it be PJ Washington, Tim Hardaway, and Lively, or will it be Naz Reid, Mike Conley, and McDaniels?
Minnesota, I'm going Naz Reid on Minnesota. No, yeah, I'm going Naz Reid on Minnesota, and I'm going none of them on Dallas. Now, I got it. Kyrie gonna be. Kyrie he got to go crazy every game. He can't take 2, because Kyrie will take a game or 2 off. You know what I'm saying? We just going through the motions, passing the ball, making plays, being real passive. You know what I'm saying? But like in closing games, he undefeated in closing games because he turned up. He got to come in every game of the series with that attitude. So I got Kyrie for Dallas, and I got Naz Reid, Minnesota.
Trev, who were some of these matchups? I mean, let's think about who do you see from Minnesota that's going to take shots at Luka and Kyrie on the defensive end?
Man, I just feel like McDaniel he's going to be like the biggest distraction, because he has the length, he has the toughness, the physicality, he has everything that's needed to impose his will on the defensive end on those offensive players.
He reminds me of you.
I'm telling you, I'm giving you ism right now.
McDaniels reminds me of McDaniels reminds me of a young TA when TA was in LA and he was going in the motherfucking Orlando Magic's huddle during the game and cussing the players out and having them scared. Like, that's what kind of time McDaniels be on too.
And I see it. Like, I haven't been to any of their games this year, but I watch it on the TV, and I kind of just see like the things that he does and how he affects the game. And it's like, it's more than what the stats or the box score would show. And those are
he can make it difficult for Luka too.
He's long and mean.
I think he will.
Pause.
Yeah.
No Diddy. Long and mean.
No, I definitely think. Yeah, I definitely see him having that type of effect and ism on the game for sure.
We talk about Luka, and that's a hell of a matchup. I think McDaniel's going to get times on Kyrie. But Jack, do you feel like there's anyone on Minnesota that could, do anything with Kyrie?
Man, it don't even matter. Anthony already called him out for the world ahead. Right after the game, he said, "And I'm going Kyrie on TNT, I'm going Kyrie." So it's already understood. McDaniels is going Luka, and say he coming guard Kyrie. I love it.
I love it. On the flip side, who's going to try to guard Ant-Man?
Nobody.
They don't have
no one on that side, do they?
I don't think nobody got a chance in hell over there to guard him. They're gonna have to send 3 motherfuckers.
PJ gonna try. PJ and Derek Jones gonna try. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to make it difficult, but I just don't see it. And then one thing about it, for some reason, this is an insider for people who's never played in the NBA. Some arenas' rims just feel lower. They all the same height, but some of them just feel lower. And man, you just jump high as hell on the rims. Dallas is one of them arenas, so watch your head in Dallas. Yeah, watch your head in Dallas, bro.
Fact.
TA, hot take. Who will we see in the finals this year?
Minnesota and Minnesota, and I'm gonna go with Indy.
Ooh,
Minnesota, Indy.
Minnesota, and we obviously you're gonna be back, so we're gonna see if we get there, and then we want your prediction. Jack, who do you have in the finals?
Man, you know I love the shit out of Kyrie, man. So ain't no way I'm going against him, but I'm going against him this time. Minnesota, Ant-Man and them boys are on one right now. Dallas playing well too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got to pick one, so I'm going Minnesota, and I'm going Boston, man. I think this time off to sit back and reflect on how they played the first two rounds and get Porzingis a little healthy. He's still gonna miss the first two games, but I think this time has helped Boston. I think they're gonna come out hungry, understand this is their window. You know what I'm saying? They got to take advantage of it. So I see Minnesota and Boston.
I think the person I don't say to lose because obviously it's a win-win. But Jason Tatum has been in the conference finals. I want to say 5 out of his 6 years in Boston, if I'm not mistaken, or 4 out of his 5. This is a big run right here for Jason Tatum because he's getting looked over right now, and he shouldn't be, but he is. He's being looked over right now, and I know he knows it. I know he feels it. So this is going to be a big opportunity again to run through Miami in the first round, get Cleveland in the second round. I don't really feel like they've really been tested, and I really feel like
At all.
Pacers are one of those teams playing their best basketball right now, and they're all playing really good basketball right now.
High effort.
Boston is going to have to really be ready. Trev, I'm not even mad at that pick. I can't agree with you, but I'm not mad at it because they're playing really good, and everyone's playing that type of basketball right now. But yeah, I got Boston coming out of the East, and I got Minnesota. Unbelievable. I got Minnesota coming out the West, man. So we'll definitely have to see.
I can't wait. Just gonna sit back like, told y'all, man. Y'all need to stay right here. I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna lead y'all to where y'all gotta go. Just stay right here. I got you.
This is the 6th consecutive season that the reigning champion has not been able to make it out of the second round. So it's been a while since we've had a back. What was the last time we had a back-to-back? Was it the Golden State, right?
Golden State, yep.
Golden State, and then before that, it was the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah, the Lakers.
It's been a while, but it's the landscape is different. We went from big threes to big twos to now a little bit more balance of the league, and there's less superstars on one team, and there's more kind of parity in the league. So definitely looking forward to this next run. Like I said, I feel like it's a copycat league. I think everyone the past 2 years is trying to build a team to beat Denver, and Minnesota was able to do that. So it's now Minnesota the staple of what this league is going to turn into as far as going back to some traditional bigs, but traditional bigs that can stretch. I'm not talking about obviously Gobert, but I'm talking about Naz Reid and Cat, who can play inside and out. So it'll be definitely interesting to see. I'm really excited about these conference finals, and we're going to have to just fire up and sit back and watch and see what the fuck happens.
That's going to be fun.
All right, well, TA, thank you for joining us today. You guys can find TA. He's going to be rocking with us through the rest of the playoffs, and we're going to have something special for him coming out next season. We got five that is, Trev, but we definitely welcome you to the All the Smoke production family, bro. Appreciate the willingness to come fuck with us, and we definitely looking forward to helping you build out.
You're going to call this shit the tropical podcast.
That's one thing. Trev stays on a different continent. That motherfucker was just wrestling with tigers in Africa like 2 weeks ago. Now he's in Turks and Caicos. That boy stay on the move. So Trev, man, we appreciate your time. Thank you. We will see you in the coming weeks. Man, that's a wrap. You can catch this episode of Unplugged on All the Smoke Productions YouTube and the DraftKings Network.